Welcome to another Connection here on TKO8 Television. Dennis King, thanks for joining us on the Connection show this week. Each week we have different organizations come in to talk about what they're doing and how they affect our viewing area, and it's always a pleasure to talk to the many volunteers in these organizations that really are the lifeblood of the organization itself. Stay with us. We'll be back in a moment. We got an interesting first half here for you on Connection.
From unique outfits to reading books, Shelby's has everything for giving the best baby gifts, including free gift wrapping. Check out our in-store baby registry for ease in gift giving and gift getting. All you have to do is stop by, let us arrange a table for everyone to shop from your registry. Call the store anytime for details or to order over the phone. We ship and deliver locally. Shop Shelby's for gifts that are beautifully wrapped and thoughtfully given.
Stop in at White Oak Station on Capps Road in Harrison and fill up with Shell gasoline, the highest quality gasoline with more miles per gallon, saving you money. Sign up for the Fuel Rewards card and save 5 cents per gallon every time. Plus, get an extra 5 cents off on Razorback Wednesdays. That's a savings of 10 cents per gallon. Check out their expanded deli and hot and cold food items. Capps Road, White Oak Station, where customer service is their #1 goal.
Back on Connection here on TKO8 Television. Our first guest, and I'll use that plural, is from the Ozark Humane Society. You never know what these girls are going to do when they come in, and they're all dressed up today. Big event coming up, and they brought Lassie with them. And Lassie needs a home, and we're going to talk about that. Thank you both for coming in. Michelle and Jessica, both of you do a fantastic job out there, and you brought a very big dog with you today. Tell us about this dog.
Well, this is Lassie. Lassie has been at the Ozark Humane Society for about 8 months, and he's about 2 years old. He's one of the best behaved dogs at the shelter.
Beautiful dog.
This dog has just been out of the shelter for about 10 minutes now just to get down here, and he's so calm. He sits most of the time on command, and but he's very loving. He deserves a really great home. So we're hoping today maybe we can promote our event and also get Lassie some attention.
Well, he's very well, considering the fact he's been in the shelter. To bring an animal in from the shelter and just bring them in and try to keep them under control while we do a short show is very difficult. Both of you, the Ozark Humane Society, with resources that they have, do a tremendous job out there. And I was kind of looking, and gosh, the number of animals that you go through in a 12-month period it's phenomenal. And you find homes for a big portion of them, and that's got to be a very difficult thing to do, really, out there. And you've got a great organization. It's a no-kill facility and has been for many years, which I'm very pleased to know that. But they always need help. They need volunteers, they need money, and they need people to take these animals and take them home with them and give them a nice home, just like Lassie here. Let's talk a little bit about, you got an event coming up. You're all dressed up in your greens today and very colorful. This event coming up, I guess you've had it for several years now, haven't you?
This is actually the second
okay.
annual.
It's a St. Patrick's Day Lucky Dog Show. So tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so it's kind of inspired by obviously all of our dogs at the shelter. We hope that they get lucky and they go to good homes. So obviously we're animal lovers, so we like to bring in the people in the community who love animals too, and many people come and bring their dogs that they adopted from the shelter.
Yes.
So we have a dog show. It's a lot of fun. We have categories like best tail wagging and most adorable. We have the owner and the dogs dress up in costumes and look girl-like. We have best trick. It's a lot of fun things like that. And then we kind of add to the atmosphere. We've got an Irish band that's going to come play live music for us. We've got the Ridge Runner clogging group that's going to come perform for us, and we've got awesome raffle prizes that have been donated by different members of businesses in the community. We're going to have a face painting booth and
Puppy
a
kissing
photo
booth?
Yeah, we're going to do our kissing booth this year. We're going to bring puppies from the Humane Society to come give out kisses, which I'm super excited about personally.
Yeah, I'll probably be hogging the line at the puppy kissing.
Yeah,
booth.
yeah. Well, listen, you're having this next to your store, is it?
Yeah, so the location this year is going to be in
Vacant.
the building right next to Nature's
Okay.
Wonders in the
Yes.
Northville Shopping Center. So
Right.
between Ace Hardware and Nature's Wonders. It used to be the Ozark Mountain Relics and Beads,
Right.
and it's currently empty. And so we're going to utilize that space for the event
Good-
this year.
good spot.
And yeah, I think it's going to be I
Got
think it's
plenty of
gonna work out
parking in
nicely.
the center there, or most of the time.
Most of the time, yeah.
Okay, so what's the cost? What's it cost if you want to enter in this?
So it's $5 per person to enter,
Okay.
and then if someone wants to enter into the dog show, it's $10 per category that they want to enter, and then that includes the owner getting in, obviously, because we need them to be there to handle the dog. But all of that money goes straight to the Humane Society to help us take care of the animals, to feed them and provide vet care and shelter them.
How many last year? How did you do? Did you have a good group last year?
We had a great group.
It was really successful for the first year.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we had like 28 dogs or
Oh,
so,
wow.
somewhere around 30, and we had about 240 people attend. So
Wow.
we had a great turnout. We're hoping to repeat that again this year.
That's fantastic. Well, it sounds like a lot of fun to do this, and obviously it goes to a great cause. Let's talk a little bit about, and then we'll come back and remind everybody. Let's talk a little bit about the Humane Society in general. I know you need more space. You need a new facility. There's been talk about that. Are you anywhere closer to having maybe a location at some point, or can you give me any information on that?
I don't think there's been too much maybe progress in that area of a new facility recently, but we have a really great group between our board, our staff, and our volunteers.
Yes.
And so I feel like we're always making progress, and we're always working to better what we can offer to to the animals in need in the community. But we do hope that one day we
you'll
can
have it.
announce that we're going to be having a new facility. That would be
I
fantastic.
mean, because we don't receive any tax support, any
No.
government funding dollars like that. So we really just depend on donations from the community and donations to the thrift store and the things that are sold there. That funds our shelter, and that's how we keep it open. So we are really just trying to do the best we can with the limited amount of resources we have.
You know, I was going to bring that up. The main source of income for the Ozark Humane Society is the Cause for Paws thrift store, which is right off of Crandall Avenue here and the bypass. And a lot of people donate there. They've got some wonderful products there. You need to go down there. They have clothing, household goods, electronics, shoes, you name it. People take a lot of good products down there, and anything you buy there, 100% of it stays here. It doesn't go to a National Humane Society or anything. It stays right here and goes to the local Humane Society. Girls, I was thinking, and I see every once in a while where cities and communities across the country where they have a lot more resources than we do here, and they even sometimes put bond issues together to build a Humane Society bigger and more modern, and they work with the city and the county government to try to make it. And Lassie's doing a good job here, about to tear their arm off, but anyway, it's okay. But for what you have to work with here, you do a phenomenal job. And just off the top of your head, you know how many animals a year would you go through roughly? I don't want to put you on the spot, but
No, you're good. I think last year the number that we had was 435 was what we adopted out for dogs
Wow.
and cats.
Wow.
And then, I mean, at any given time, there's about 100 animals out at the shelter.
Always got it.
So they just constantly keep coming in. They get picked up by the city. They get brought in by individuals who, a lot of animals get dumped, unfortunately, and people find them and bring them to us. So
Right.
we're always just looking for more homes for more animals.
I know one thing that keep in mind if you'd like to adopt an animal, a dog or a cat, don't go out and buy. Don't spend a lot of money. You can get probably as good a pet or better by going to the Humane Society. They vaccinate these animals. They spay and neuter them if they haven't been already. And so when you get them, they've been checked, and they'll make wonderful pets and companions, obviously. And you're doing a favor to the Humane Society, obviously, and the community, because you don't want these animals out running loose around the area. Speaking of that, you do spay and neuter clinics still, don't you? I know you get help from at least one or two of the vet locations that help you out there, and I think that's a big plus too, is keeping people aware. You know, there's a few states in the Northeast. Speaking of that, do you ever have an opportunity to send any of these, particularly the dogs, to states that do have very strict laws? Or is there any opportunity to do that?
We've recently actually partnered with a shelter in Colorado, and we transported 6 dogs just a few weeks ago.
Wow.
Out there, and we're working to build those connections.
Wow, that'd be great.
To be able to do that, because there are shelters, like you said, in certain areas that actually get low on how many pets they have for adoption, which is the exact opposite of, you know, the problem at a lot of other shelters. So it's good when those shelters can connect, and so we're working to build some connections like that.
Well, I know the Northeast, but probably different states and communities in the country, that they do have, some of them have very strict laws. I mean, big fines and misdemeanor charges and so forth if you don't have your animals. Actually, they have leash laws and spay-neuter laws, so you know you don't have a lot of animals roaming around, which is wonderful. But there is a need. There's people that want these animals. So what a great connection if you can continue to do that, maybe expand on that. That would give you areas that you can give these animals a nice home somewhere where they're really wanted, they're really needed, and that's wonderful. We got 2 or 3 minutes left. Am I missing anything? Excuse me.
Well, you brought up the spay and neuter clinics. We have another one of those coming up for the spring.
Okay.
So it'll be the first week of April is when the surgeries are performed, and March 26th will be the date to sign up for that.
And where do they sign up?
So you go to the Cause for Paws thrift store, and starting at 9 a.m. we will be there registering people for the spay and neuter surgeries. We have a wonderful volunteer who heads all of that up for us. And those spots fill up really, really fast. We do the clinic about 3 days, and we can fit in 30 to 40 animals a day, and those spots usually fill up by noon on the sign-up day. So there's a lot of need for animals to be fixed in our community.
And that's wonderful that you've got a veterinarian that's helping you, or maybe more, but at least somebody helping you there. Thanks for coming today. We've run out. Last, you did a great job. I tell you what. Just like the TV Lassie, look, laying right there, ready to go, well trained. You can't really see Lassie's laying down right now, but
keeping her feet warm.
She's keeping her feet warm. Why don't you get her up for a minute? We're about to run out of time. I want her to be seen on TV. Can you get up for a minute?
Come on, Lassie.
She's very comfortable right now.
There you go. Oh, there's
you
Lassie.
go. There you go.
All dressed up. If you'd like a dog or a cat, don't forget about the Ozark Humane Society. They have some wonderful animals that need a home, they need loving care, and if you can help out volunteering, or if you can give donations, and also take treats out there, dog food, cat food, they'll accept any kind of help that you can give them out there, and much appreciated. And people like Jessica Kibling and Michelle Rouse, they put a lot of hours in, a lot of time in, and they donate their time to try to make it better for these animals, so you can help out as well. Ladies, thank you for coming in today. Your green outfits, very appropriate. And don't forget about the Lucky Dog Show. It's coming up Saturday, March 16th, 1 till 4 p.m., right next door to Nature's Wonders in the shopping center, Northville Shopping Center. They'll have that building open up there, and they're going to have a lot of fun, and all of it goes and stays right here at the Humane Center. Thank you, ladies. Call anytime and bring another animal in, and we'll see what you bring next time. Lassie did a wonderful job, by the way. Stay with us. Be back in a moment. We're going to talk with a couple of gentlemen from the Harrison Parks and Recreation Department. They've got a whole new sport that they're announcing right now, and it's quite interesting. Stay with us.
We all need the help of a pharmacy from time to time. Sullivan Pharmacy would like to thank all their customers for supporting them as an independent local pharmacy. When you trade with an independent pharmacy, you deal with an owner that supports the local economy and charities. Visit Sullivan Pharmacy for any of your over-the-counter or prescription needs. It's important to keep helping those that help the community. Sullivan Pharmacy, 731 Main Street, Harrison, serving this area since 1965. Cold weather has arrived in the Ozarks, and Quality Feed Grains can help you get through the winter months more efficiently. They have a variety of de-icers in stock, including heated dog bowls, heated livestock buckets, heat bulbs and lamps, bucket heaters, and sinking or floating de-icers, plus de-icers for the car as well. Quality Feed Grains, helping you stay warm this winter. 4617 Highway 65 South in Bellefonte and 311 East Prospect in Harrison.
Back on Connection here on TKO8 Television. Dennis King, thanks for joining us on the Connection Show this week. Our next guest in the studio today comes from the Harrison Parks and Recreation Department, and we have Chuck Eddington and Jonathan Johnson with us. Chuck, Jonathan, thanks for coming by today. So we're going to put Jonathan on the spot since he's his
We're going to put Jonathan on the spot today. Let him talk a little bit about what he's got going on.
Well, we're going to talk about today something that's I don't really understand, and it's a new something for our Parks Department, but it's a growing area across the country, and Jonathan was fortunate enough to be kind of an expert in this when Chuck talked to him about it, and we've already had one competition, and we call it's e-sports gaming, and something that some of you may have seen or heard about, and some of you may not at all, but it's quite exciting, and it gives us a little more diversity within our offerings of different sports through the Harrison Parks and Rec Department. Tell us a little bit about e-gaming, Jonathan.
So e-gaming, esports stands for electronic sports.
Okay.
Pretty much what that means is it adds a whole new element to video games itself. Adds a competitive gaming.
Okay.
Meaning that there are professional teams, there are semi-pro teams. You know, now it's starting to leak down all the way into the college and now into high school. So now it's a big foundation that's actually starting. Well, it has been started, but now it's going into pretty much a big deal where everybody is starting to get on a competitive level, playing with each other, not necessarily in a full contact type sport.
Okay, so e-gaming or e-sports, I should say. I guess I've seen over the last few years on national television that they Las Vegas, let's say. Mm-hmm. I mean, and it's basically it's for grown-ups, but and they pay out money. It's a big competition deal. Yeah. So they have it on the professional level, obviously, at that level.
Yes, sir. So there's like foundations, for example, just kind of throwing one out, like TSM, Team Solo Mid, Optic Gaming. There's a bunch of foundations that play, and then there's several different games and different types of genres of games that they play, mm-hmm. whether that be a combat style game, MOBA, or anything like that. And then they play in those specific type of fields, and yes, there are tournaments that have huge payouts.
Yeah, just like the poker and a lot of the other stuff that you see nationally across the country.
Exactly.
So you recently, I guess this last week, had a competition, your first competition.
Yes, sir.
Here in Harrison. We had, 38?
40. We had 40 kids.
40 kids.
Mm-hmm.
So what kind of games did you set? What did you just use for them to play? What was the game?
So this game that we had for our most recent tournament this past weekend was Fortnite. Okay. It's a really big game right now. All the kids are super into it. Not necessarily just kids. It's also adults as well.
Okay.
They're really big into it. You got the kids even at our after-school program, even through all our summer rec this past summer. They were all doing the Fortnite dances, is what they're called.
Okay.
They're really big into it. So, we thought, well, hey, let's see if we can't try to get into this scene. And, we hosted our first one. And, it was a really successful deal. And everyone really enjoyed it.
One thing, Dennis, that we're trying to do is with this gaming is a lot of the kids are playing online at home. And these games, when you play these games, you're dropping in these maps with 100 different players and you may not know any of them.
Okay.
What we're trying to do is bring these into a social setting too, where these kids can meet other kids in the community that also play in these games that they may not know, and in this kind of setting, and then them can be able to compete with each other just like we would in any other league.
Okay.
So that's kind of another aspect of it that we liked, is we're actually bringing all these guys, and that was one of our main comments we got, was how they got to meet more kids in the community that were doing what they were doing necessarily.
Okay. What age group did you, for the one you just had? I mean, what was youngest to the oldest? What was your age group?
So the youngest we had was 10 years old, and I believe the oldest that we had was probably around 24, 25 would be the oldest.
Okay. So do you have will you, or I guess do you have a minimum age? I mean, they have to be a certain age.
We did a 10-year-old on this one and up, but it was a teen game, so we made it, if they were under 14, we made their parents sign a waiver form so they could play.
Okay.
And that's how we did it.
Okay.
Now we'd like to get to the point where we could have a age group specific, but for the first one we didn't know what we were going to get, so we just opened it up.
Okay. I know you were talking about, so each person has a console, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
And then you put a screen, and I'm assuming a TV screen or a pretty good sized screen in front of them. And then is there a time frame on this? Is the competition have anything to do with timing?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So the way that we have our tournament set up is Fortnite itself as a game has pretty much its own timer set for each match. It can't last forever.
I got you.
It has its own mechanic in it where you start with a huge map, and then it marks what's called a safe zone. And each time every so minutes, the zone just gets smaller and smaller, and then it funnels everybody into a real tight area to eventually it'll be completely consumed by what's called a storm that'll eventually eliminate everybody. And the last person standing, of course, will be the winner of the game.
Okay, I got you.
So therefore, we kind of made a type of format where we could get a tournament made out of it, where we did set time limits on it.
Okay.
Where they would have, let's say, 5 minutes or 10 minutes to gear up, and then we made a designated spot on the map where they all went to, and then they just played against each other for about 10 or 15 minutes.
Okay.
And then we would call the match and then tally up how many eliminations or whatever they had, and then we would either advance them or they would be eliminated from the bracket play.
Did you trophies, or do you do any kind of ribbons or awards?
We gave away, what we did on this one, we gave away $250 to the winner. And we gave the second place a free entry into our next tournament.
Cool. Okay.
So they automatically got a free entry, both of them, in first place.
My next question is, since this is fairly new, and particularly maybe in this part of the country, where do you see the schools? Are they looking at offering this as another sport, I guess you would call it, or is that something the schools are doing? Or?
But when he first approached me about it, I didn't know anything about it. We had been focused on the baseball, softball, soccer part of the high school sports, trying to get them. Well, I just saw my bid sheet come out for that, and the Arkansas Activities Association was voting on esports to sanction it in high schools. So, and I just went back to him and I said, "You're right on track, because they're fixing to try to sanction it." So, we started calling around, and some of our local schools around here already have teams that are developing to play, which is a PC gaming, not a console gaming league through the schools.
Okay.
Now, eventually, we're trying to get set up to be able to do those as well, and bring schools in just like we do our classic tournaments, and be able to be set up to do that. We want to be on the front end of it, because that's why we're running these other ones. We want to have all of our kinks worked out, and where we can run a smooth tournament and get all these kids in one spot and let them kind of socialize and gather and play. That's our main goal, is to bring more and more in and offer that to these kids that, they may not want to sit at home all the time, just play online and talk on their headset. They had a lot of fun just watching each other play when we were at the tournament. But it's coming, and I've talked to some superintendents, and they're going to eventually get it. It may take it another year before they're big into it on the school side of it. But there is a lot of interest.
I'm assuming you've got to have fairly good internet speeds to do that kind of thing. And I know you're working with some local providers, and so that you would be able, and the schools would have to do the same thing.
Right.
You know, some schools, maybe outlying schools, might not have the speed. Well, it sounds like an exciting. When's your next tournament? What do you got coming up?
Well, we are scheduled to do another fortnight tournament. This last one was solos, meaning that you're just one person
Right.
on your own, going in playing against other people. This next one will be what's called duos, so you'll be teams of 2. So you and your buddy will get together, and we have that scheduled for April 20th.
April 20th. And
Yes,
at the youth center, you'll do it at the
At
youth
the youth
center.
center.
Well, that's great. Well, that sounds exciting and certainly different, you know, and if you're interested in it, if you've got any questions, go down and see Jonathan or Chuck, and they'll tell you about it. And then they've got this upcoming tournament. I assume it will be for age-wise about the
It'll
same.
probably be the
Yes, sir.
same, 10 and up.
Yeah,
Okay.
it'll be 10 and older,
10 and
yes,
up.
sir.
Okay, that's good. Anything else? We got about 3 minutes left on Parks programs.
We got spring break, schools out program coming up in March over spring break. So if you're working and didn't get to go on vacation, your kids need a place to go, they're more than welcome to come to the youth center. We have a program now where we accept them and do different activities with them throughout the day, kind of like our summer rec program.
Now, do they sign up for the whole period, or can you sign up for the days?
You can do daily or weekly.
Okay.
We have both options. So that's something we got coming up that we need out in the community because we're trying to get the info out right now. Like I said, all of our baseball and softball tournaments are starting. League sign-ups start March the 1st. That will do our baseball, softball sign-ups, and I think soccer sign-ups are just ending or still going on right now for their league too. So
Okay.
all that's going on right now or coming up.
Yeah, that's right. Baseball, softball. So if you got kids out there that want to play baseball and softball in the program, go down to the youth center and you can sign up down there. And
Online. We are all online now, but if you can't figure it,
or
if
you
you
can do it
can't,
online.
you know, you need help signing up, they can call in and we can walk them through it, or they can come up there and we can sign them up. Either way, but it's all online now, so it's kind of
Do it
easy
either way.
access.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Anything else? I know, just throw it out briefly, since I'm on the Parks Commission. You're looking at maybe a dog park down
We
the
are
road?
looking at a dog park. We actually found a grant you can apply for up to $25,000 if you don't have one through Pet Safe. So we're going to apply for that in May and see what happens. And regardless, we're working with the city. The new mayor really thinks we need one, so we're working with the city council, and we're probably going to have one this year.
One way or the other.
One way or the other.
Yeah.
But we are going to try to apply
Already
for a
got the
grant for it.
property kind of lined out.
We got the spot located that we want to put it in, and everything's good. We're just trying to see if we can get a grant to pay for it. And if not, we'll end up doing it ourselves, but we'll have one for the end of the year, I'm sure.
Well, that's new as well. Well, as you can see, Parks and Rec doing new things, not just the same old, but the new esports gaming program is quite exciting, and we're real fortunate to have Jonathan Johnson, who already knew all about it and told Chuck, and Chuck's probably, he's better than I am. I don't know. I can spell it. That's about it. But it sounds exciting. I'll have to come next time and kind of watch how they do it. It sounds like it'd be a lot of fun. And
It's kind of interesting because, you know, you think you have a tournament going on, it's going to be really loud, but when you walk in there, they're all focused. They're on their screen. It's kind of quiet. So it was kind of new for me because it was a tournament where it wasn't really loud around me.
no cowbells. Or
No
big applause.
cowbells, anybody
Just
whistling.
just straight focus.
Just straight focus on their game. It was
Yeah.
pretty.
Good.
It's pretty good.
Thank- Thank you both for coming in today. I really appreciate it. Chuck Eddington, Jonathan Johnson from the Harrison Parks and Recreation Department, talking about the new esports program, the new gaming program that is just getting started, and you'll hear a lot more about it as we go forward. Thank you both. Good luck as you move forward, and good luck with your program for the spring break.
Yes, sir.
Hope you fill her up. Thanks for joining us on Connection. We'll see you again next time.
Crystal clear mountain streams, river rapids, and rolling hills with endless valleys. The beauty of the Ozarks we often take for granted. At Magnus Toyota, we never underestimate the value of our customers. As a third-generation family-owned business, Magnus Toyota has been operating here in the Ozarks for over 50 years. When we make a new deal, we make a new friend. Stop in and visit us today and see why our customers say we're the best. Magnus Toyota, your hometown Toyota dealer on Highway 65 North in Harrison.